Hey, welcome back to another Black City Coffee vlog. In this video, we're going to do a Q&A. You guys sent me a lot of questions when I was gone. The shop is now back up and running on Etsy and on the site. So, good news there. Okay, let's get right into it. Here's a question. Do you feel like the small roaster helped you learn/experiment before getting a 1 kg roaster? I remember hearing you talk about how some of the roasting theory didn't translate to the hot top. Yeah, for sure. When I got the hot top, I definitely learned sort of like a basic understanding about roast curves, roasting in general. I learned a lot of really basic knowledge, like how washed coffees were easier to roast than, say, like a natural or even a decaf or a honey. And I feel like the same thing is true for when I'm roasting with a 1 kg. I feel like it really does translate very well when you learn theory and concepts on the hot top, because if you're using the one and you're doing everything manually and you were hooking up your artisan, your roasting software management system or documenting system to the hot top, it was really instrumental in going like, okay, so when I turn the heat down, like this happens. When I turn the air up, this happens. And just seeing and going through the motions. Going through the motions and training yourself on a new machine, on a new skill or hobby, you just need to go from A to Z. You just need to see what it's about. I think that's so important. And in our primary business, I do a lot of training and I'm always experimenting with how one can learn something more efficiently, more effectively, basically get quicker and better in a faster amount of time with their skills. What's the learning curve? What can really be taught and what is really innately like talent, versus skill, that sort of thing. So I feel like if you have the money and you have the goal like, hey, I want a 1 kg roaster. I don't think I'm there to spend that kind of money, but I am down to spend this type of money, which is say $2,000 for a hot top and the artisan hookup, which is the hot top 2KN plus. It has to have the plus on it. So you need to make sure when you're purchasing your hot top that it can actually hook up. It has that USB connection to a computer so that you can monitor your roast via artisan or something, okay? Can you use other roasting softwares? I think so, yeah, because it's just a USB hookup. It's just a matter of like finding the thing. The thing I think why artisan and hot top go together is because you can actually select on artisan, you can select hot top in the machine, function there. Whereas when I was using artisan with my Mill City Roaster 1 kg, when I first got it and I was using artisan, there wasn't an automatic like pick your Mill City Roaster. It wasn't in the list. I don't remember why, but I think I found some sort of workaround reading through a bunch of forums. But eventually they released their own roasting software called RoastPath, and probably that's why, because they're planning, like they planned way before, I'm gonna release our own roasting software, so we're not even going to be on the list for artisan or things like this. They want to funnel their customers that way, which is totally understandable. So with that being said, like, yeah, I mean, you got to go through the motions. I feel like that's necessary. You need to kind of just do it, go through it. Like, oh, that's what this means, oh, this is what it means to burn my coffee. Oh, this is what it means when I nail it, So yeah, definitely, I think it helped me a lot. And that was just my path. Can you go around it? Can you do it without getting a hot tub? Can you go and get the 1 kg roaster right now? Yeah, for sure. There's a ton of roasters out there that are more affordable, I guess. That's what I'm hearing. Like Mill City Roasters is expensive for some people. And I've talked about this a lot on my channel. It's like, yeah, if you don't have that money, don't get that one, get the one that works for you. No hate, no judgment, just get the one that works for you. Okay, another question. Did they ever fix that separator in the drum that kept trapping a bean? Because that seems pretty annoying to have to take it apart after every roast. Yeah, dude, it was annoying. What he's talking about, or what this person's talking about, is that the hot top in particular, when I was roasting, occasionally one bean or two will get stuck, and the drum roaster in the hot top has these separators to help sort of matriculate all the beans as it rotates, right? And I don't know why in the design they didn't just continue this separator from top to bottom. You have to see a picture to know what I'm kind of talking about, or maybe go visit one of my hot top videos. Anyway, a bean would get stuck in between one of these little things. It's like a metal thing that's welded into the drum to help it matriculate. I hope I'm saying that right. So as it expanded, it would get stuck. And it was just like, if you didn't take that out, or you weren't aware, or you were roasting, the only reason why it would be kind of like a problem is like, when you're roasting a hot top, you can only roast so many grams at a time. 70 grams, 100 grams, I really don't remember. But it's, you're roasting at like 70% of maximum capacity of that drum. So when you're doing that and you wanted to say roast a solid pound of coffee for yourself or somebody else, you know, friends and family, you're doing back-to-back roasts, so back-to-back batches. And so when you're doing that, you're not necessarily going to be checking that or get stuck, and you do them another batch, and you'd be on your third batch and be like, hey, there's a burnt bean in there. That thing is to a crisp, you know, it's almost like a, you know, piece of paper how burnt it is. And they say that one bean can basically infect or kind of ruin that whole batch. And just knowing that firsthand is like, well, is this whole batch like shitty now because it's one bean, you know? So it seemed like a very big flaw in the design of it, and it feels like it's an easy fix in terms of you can fix the drum and just ship out the drum to those who have that hot top or whatever. If you're a metal worker, you can maybe fix it on your own. But yeah, very annoying, very annoying. It would make me feel like my coffee would always be subpar, you know, because of that flaw. Did it happen every single time? No, but I'd probably say like 90% of the time it happened. Okay, next question. For those of you asking for free samples of beans, I'm down to do that. I'm down to give you guys free samples for whatever reason that you want to, you know, cup the coffee or make some content and compare it, whatever. I'm so down for that, and I'm actually in the process of figuring out how to send that to you guys. So, you know, I've just gotten back. I've got a lot of work to do, but it's on my list, and I want to send you guys free samples. If you come through and you find me here on YouTube or Instagram, and you go to this site, there should be, I'm trying to set up a way to have a pop-up come up and say, hey, do you want a free sample if you haven't got one already, and document it and be like, hey, you know, in exchange for your email, in exchange for, you know, and not spamming you or anything like that, but to give you guys a sample of fresh coffee, because I made a bunch of samples before I left, so they're pretty fresh. They're like ready to go. So this week I want to work on trying to send these out to the people who are interested in a sample. And the sample is about maybe an ounce or 2 ounces. I'm not being very meticulous about this because, for one, they're free, and I want to stay under 3 ounces for sure when I send it out to you, so that it doesn't cost me so much money, you know, to send you these samples, okay? But I want to keep doing that maybe for a couple months. Let's just see how it goes. But, you know, for those of you asking for free samples, I'm working on it, and hopefully by this week, and you're watching the channel, I will have something created by the end of the week. Let's be accountable, right? By the end of the week, that's my goal. Okay, here's another question. Our roaster shut off when we hit the ignition button. Remember seeing something where yours tripped as well. Was there a reset that you did to get it going? Okay, this is interesting. our roaster shut off when we hit the ignition button. It could be that your emergency switch was on. Check your emergency switch. So the emergency switch, when I first received my roaster, it was actually pressed. But I didn't know, it didn't look pressed. It didn't look like it. So you have to finagle with it, okay? Like give it a little jiggle and try to just pull it out. You may have just feel like maybe you're like pulling too much, but give it a little pull, give it a little jiggle, and make sure it kind of like pops out. That's what happened to me. It totally looked like it was not pressed, but it was. So check that. Check that first. And then look inside and look at all of your little ignition thingies where the flame come out. What's that called? I don't know. Where the flame comes out, check that. Make sure there's nothing. Check all the things, you know, do your due diligence. Make sure all your lines are correct. There's all of the, all the fuel lines are correct and sealed and everything like that. But I feel like if it was like an automatic shut off kind of vibe, on ignition, check that emergency switch on the side of the control panel, big red button, just check it. Make sure it's not pressed. Okay, now we're going to email and checking questions here or there. If you guys are wondering if you can just call me and pick my brain about things, I don't have time to do that. You know, I appreciate you guys watching the videos and being like, hey, maybe Meg is somebody who could coach me or mentor me. I cannot do that. I have way too much on my plate to do that, but I can answer your questions here, and I hope that in this way you can learn from them and think about what you're asking me and maybe go deeper with your questions and go search on your own and continue to find stuff and continue to learn organically. But yeah, I cannot do too much of like, hey, get on the phone with me and let's chat. No, I don't have time to do that. For those of you who are sending me your phone numbers and emails and like, hey, let's chat, like I said, I don't really have time to do that. What I would encourage you to do is, I'm not shutting you down, I would encourage you to simply have a specific question. Do your thing, do your dream. If it's your dream to be a coffee roaster or have your own micro, think like start. The first thing, what I would recommend for you to do is just start. Don't get stuck on like, should I do this? Should I do that? Start to do something. And if you feel overwhelmed, pick the smallest, easiest task that you could do moving towards your goal or your dream. Secondly, I would just start to, you know, not too many people who are in the position that they're in. I'm not even in a I don't know, high position in coffee or anything like that, but I do have other things in my life that keep me very preoccupied besides coffee. That's my predicament, right? So I don't have all the time in the world. So a lot of people who you're gonna reach out to and maybe want like a free mentorship, they can't afford to do that. But what you can afford to do is go and research on your own. Go and pour through all of the YouTube videos, forums, and things like that. That's everything that I did. What I plan to do to help out folks like yourself and to help sort of a lot of the questions that are coming my way is develop sort of a database of videos, maybe a pay for play sort of site, not a high paywall, but there has to be something there that doesn't make me feel like I'm being taken advantage of for all of the time that I'm spending researching on my own, experimenting on my own, putting my own money, all that stuff, right? And then sharing my experiences with you guys. So if I can make shortcuts for people who are watching and enjoying my content, I think it may be fair to say that, hey, I spent a lot of time and a lot of energy and money and blah, blah, blah. I don't think it's going to be too much, but I will create something that, you know, probably will make me feel like I'm not being taken advantage of and is of value to you guys, okay? So it's a win-win. But yeah. So to answer your question, sorry, no, you cannot pick my brain, but you can definitely watch all the videos, and I will definitely always be putting out content about coffee that everyone can learn from, okay? I hope this video helps. Keep pursuing your dreams, you know, don't be lazy, do your due diligence, and have fun, you know. If you overthink things with coffee, which is so easy to do, I've been there, and I'm actually always there. But if you overthink things, definitely just about starting, you're never gonna get anywhere. So just start with the easiest thing that you can do. And you'll find that when you just keep making these micro decisions, if the big decisions scare you, you keep doing those little ones and they're all going to add up. And sooner or later, when you look back, you'll have made a ton of really, most likely, not scary decisions, but have led to something bigger and greater. And you're like, whoa, I can't believe I did all that, okay? All right, I hope this video helps. The site is back open. We're at blkcitycoffee.com. And I will see you again with hopefully a way to send you guys free samples by the end of the week. Okay, cool, good things. See ya.